Feed-in tariff or smart export guarantee is often a factor that people use when deciding whether or not they want to go for a solar installation. However, that may well be coming to an end. In fact, did you know there's a chance in a few years' time you'll actually be charged? I'm going to explain how and why in this video. Tariff was actually abolished in 2019 and replaced with the Smart Export Guarantee. This meant that people with approved installations could sell excess energy from their solar system back to the national grid for a small amount of money, typically around an average of 10 pence per kilowatt hour. However, some countries now actually plan to start charging people for exporting their excess energy into the grid. In particular, in Australia and New South Wales, where they're looking at implementing this system. The sun tax, as it's been called by some, means that people in New South Wales will be charged up to 2 cents per kilowatt hour for any energy they export into the grid. The reason being, obviously, the sun is at its highest during those times of day, and in Australia, there's an abundance of it. Some people have said this is actually a tax on people who have done their best to try and invest in cleaner technologies and energy production. Ausgrid, which is their version of the national grid, have said the reason they're doing this is, quote, to ensure fairness for all customers, including those who can't access rooftop solar. Now, this could be a problem for people in the UK because as we get more solar and wind come online, there's going to be an abundance of that during the day. And that means people like me that export to the grid generally at the middle of the day might find our electricity companies start to charge us for the privilege. Now, it could be argued if the grid was better and more modernised that excess energy could be sent to industry to use during the day. However, the problem there is a lot of big companies and factories now actually produce their own solar energy, so they don't need to buy it from the grid. Now, it should be noted that in Australia, where this system is going to be implemented, you can still get paid for exporting to the grid at other times of the day. But the biggest time of the day, when you're producing the most energy, you're going to have to pay them to take it from you. So what could you do to avoid this charge? Well, a few things. One, you could invest in battery technology for your home and store that energy between, say, 10 AM and 3 PM and then release that later on in the day when you need to use it most. Alternatively, you could look at fitting a hot water tank with an electric immersion heater in it and setting that on a timer to come on when you're producing the most of electricity during the day. If you've got Home Assistant, which is an operating system that allows you to run devices in your house, you could even set that to automatically start to turn the immersion heater on when there was an abundance of electricity coming out of your solar array. If you've got an electric vehicle, you could look at charging that during those times of the day if you're at home. You could even look at installing an air conditioning system and having that turn on during those times to take that energy away from the grid and release it back into your house. Now, let's be clear, there's no talk yet of the national grid charging people to take their energy, but I think it's fair to say as other countries start to adopt this idea, the UK will probably have no choice but to follow suit because of demands and pressures on the national grid. So if you're looking at having a solar system installed, you might just want to consider looking at battery storage as an option because in the future, it might be something you're going to rely on more than you think. In the next video, I'm going to tell you why you should consider installing a battery option on your solar array for your home. I'll explain the costs, how it works, the pros and the cons. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, then please consider giving me a subscribe and I'll see you again.